give me hint, then also I'm unable to solve. Yeah.
Okay, so what I will do is first I will tell you what in this position what we should try to look and do,
Okay.
and then I will tell you the first move,
Hmm.
and then you have to find the second move.
Okay.
So in this position, we should try to see that suppose if it is white to move, it is checkmate in one. Bishop can simply come on g7 and then it's a checkmate because this bishop is defended by this knight, and this king can't move on g8 because of this knight can't capture this bishop because of this knight.
Yes.
So if it would have been white to move, then it would have game over for black, but it is black to move. So now black can only try to checkmate the white king, otherwise his own king will get checkmate.
Hmm.
Now, before calculating any moves, we have to see what are the option does black king has. So first we can see which are the square these two pawns are controlling. So these two pawns are controlling these many squares. They are controlling three squares.
Hmm.
The black king can only black king can't go up, of course. So black king has only one way to save himself. He can go to a2, then go to the first rank.
Hmm.
So now we know this is the position of white king. So we should try to find checks in certain way so that this white king doesn't run on second rank and then on first rank. And we should checkmate this white king there only on this third rank, because if this white king is able to reach on second, then he will be able to run. And since the black does not have any piece apart from queen, so only queen will help us to checkmate, and you can only checkmate when you come near to the king, and when you come near to the king you need to take the help of these two pawns also. So king plus these two pawns can checkmate the white king right there only, somewhere there. That is the first thing. Now I will tell you the first move after sharing this analysis. Then you think again and tell me where white king will go and what will be black next move. So the first correct move is queen c4 check.
You can go to A3.
No, that anyone can tell. You have to think where it can go and what will be your next move.
So the next move can be that pawn I can bring then.
And it should be checkmating next move after king a3, because right now king has only one square a3.
A3, yes.
So after king goes to a3, in next move it should be checkmate.
Okay.
That is the pattern we are learning in this position.
3, check. It has a bishop also there on F8. Bring the pawn here. So check. That captures this.
First white will play king a3.
Yes. I'm thinking whether the pawn moves to B4. If it moves to B4, then it's check. So I'll come here, but it can go up then. If that pawn comes to b4, the king can move up then. a4 it can run.
Yes, of course.
So if my queen comes here, what is happening if my queen comes to b4? Then the bishop will capture. Bishop captures. Only one move allowed now.
No, if you can find checkmate in 5 moves, that also you can do, but the fastest will be in next move only. Tell me in this position how many checks you can give, from where you can give check. First tell me that. Then we will see.
I am thinking whether the queen can come to a2.
You can definitely come, but
Then it will capture. The king will
then
capture.
white king will happily.
Nicely, happily take it. The question you asked. Now the checkmate move, Samaj.
Which are the checks do you have? Tell me one by one.
Okay. First I'll tell the queen. The queen can give check from a4, b4,
To
and b3. b3, c3, of course it can't come to b3 and c3 because of that pawn.
no, that pawn will capture. That is other matter, but still the you can give check. We are not checking what are the safe check. We are only checking what are the available check.
Okay.
So available check means all kind of check, even if you are losing your queen. So
Okay, that's it.
when we see all the available checks, then we will see which one is better.
Okay. So starting with queen, one is a4, is b4, then similarly you can come to b3, c3, d3, then I could go up also 3, c3, a2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Queen has total 7 moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Totally
So,
7 moves for the queen, right?
yes. So since I have already told you that it is a checkmate in 2 moves and both the moves are queen moves. So now we will check. So the first check you told me, check that if that is a checkmate or not.
Check.
Which was the first check?
A4.
Okay, so calculate on that and tell me is it checkmate or not. Then we will move on to second.
Comes to A4. Can't capture because of that pawn. Can't go here. Can't go here. A4. A4. It can't capture this. You can't go here. Come here. Come here. A4. It's a checkmate. A4.
Yes, it is a checkmate.
Why I missed it so much? What did I write? Confusing everybody.
You are starting your with queen a4.
Acha. My first position should have been
c4.
C. Okay, okay.
Because the reason is if you start with a4, the king is running on this side.
Hmm.
From c4, you are taking control of this a2 square also, and you are forcing the king to go to a3.
Yes.
And when the king goes to a3, then you give check from a4 because the king is stuck in the side of the board, blocked by his own pawn.
Okay.
So from a4, this king even can't go to a2 because your queen is controlling.
Yes. The first move is c4. Yes.
So in
Okay.
these kind of pattern, when you have these kind of pawn in front of the king, always try to force the black king to go into the side of the board first.
Okay.
And then give check from side of the board because he will be blocked by his own pawn and he can't go outside the chessboard.
Yeah. Less options.
Yes.
Okay. But this was really tough. Huh? Or maybe my calculations are very low.
We are still in very beginning. You need to increase your speed of solving these puzzles.
No, no, from tomorrow I'll actually 10 to 1 I'm.
And read what is written on the right side and then explain to me what it says.
Working principles for the basic of the fight for control sentences highlighted skills. D4, D5, E, D4, D5, D4, 5. Okay. In the middle, why do we want to control the center? Because the pieces are more. Okay.
So tell me what is this principle says.
Control the center
Why?
because more mobility. Like even the spawns are there, it can control.
What is the meaning of mobility?
It means like what do you say? Controlling more number of squares, we can say. Like
But
if
that is
it's in the corner, it can't control that many. Supposing the pawn is on just h3 or a3, so it has only one. This here it has. It can control more squares. Like
so mobility also means you have more freedom to move
okay,
and you have more squares to reach.
okay,
So if you see these four squares, the mobility, these four squares have high mobility.
okay.
High mobility, you can see from D4, you can reach any of these square in this diagonal. From this, you can reach on any of this diagonal. From these two squares, you can reach any of this diagonal. And from these two,
Yes,
you can horizontally go to any of these square. And from D4 and E4 also, you can go on either side.
yes.
So this is the meaning of mobility from D.
This is for all the pieces. Now, controlling the center is not only for pawn, it's for each and every piece in the board, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That is why this is the first principle in chess that we should control the center so that our pieces are more active. They have more squares to control. They have more squares to move. And based on a situation, they can decide where they want to go. Okay, so if you want to write, you can write these principles. These will be like whenever you are not playing well or you get frustrated, always sit back and revise these principles. This will help you to
Yes,
again getting ready for the game.
yes, basic principles.
The chessboard.
Now I can see.
Okay, so read this principle and tell me what does it mean.
Is that? Oh, that's quite dark. Develop. Let's see, the air is coming. Develop your pieces as quickly and as actively as possible. Develop your pieces as quickly and actively. Quickly is okay. Actively, we do this for 2 days as to be pieces as much as possible to clear for other pieces. To analyze it, Develop your pieces as quickly that I followed and as actively as possible. Like that active passive which you said, maybe that is the meaning of this. We do this for two reasons to the agility, SC Okay, to clear the way for our other pieces to move. Okay, to have our piece working together as a team. Yeah, any other team sport. Okay, fine. Now here, no.
Yes.
Um, Develop your pieces. Pieces are this rook, bishop, knight. These three, right? These are called pieces. Am I right? So we do this for to give our pieces as much mobility as we can. Now these two words are used here. One is quickly, one is actively, right?
Yes.
Quickly तो ठीक है like why can't we like based on this we are just moving the pawn first, no, like d2 and d2.
Yes.
In some of the opponents I've seen they start with their like straight away with the knight with the queen, like as fast they will just start.
Yes.
Mhm. So maybe that is how it is called actively.
Okay,
Okay.
you tell me, suppose there is a stairs and if you want to reach on first floor, how will you reach? You will go step by step or you will directly go to the 10th step?
No, no, I will fall down. Step by step only, na? So it's better to go step by step.
So same logic applies in chess also. If you try to be more attacking and try to bring all your pieces too fast, you may end up losing those pieces.
Mm, okay.
That's why it's very important to take very each step. Like first step is develop your pieces, controlling the center. So first controlling the center is important.
Okay.
And once you control these d4, e4 with your one pawn or two pawn, then second principle says you need to develop your pieces as quickly as actively. Now, as quickly you already know that before wasting any time, we should develop our knight, bishop, and then rook, then queen and castle and all those things.
Yes.
Now, what is the meaning of active? The meaning of active is when you develop your pieces, you are making use of one move, two moves. Active moves are where these moves look like free moves. Means you are attacking the other piece also at the same time you are developing. For example, e4. We are following the
Mm.
first principle. We are controlling the central squares.
Yes.
Now suppose your opponent plays e5. He is also following the first principle. He is also trying to control the central squares.
Yes.
Now if I play knight f3, this knight f3 is following the second principle. First, I'm quickly developing my piece. It is a very active move. Why it is active move? Because it is not only a developing move, at the same time, it also attack this pawn on e5.
Okay.
At the same time, it controls the d4 square. It controls the g5 square. It controls the h4 square.
Yeah.
So, in addition to just developing, if you are serving all these purposes, it means it is a multi-purpose move.
Okay.
So, when you are serving more than one purpose, those moves are called active moves.
Okay.
So, the second principle says you should develop your pieces, but try to develop in such a way so that you don't waste time, because there the black already start need to worry about this e5 pawn.
Yes.
He can't just do anything because you already put pressure on e5. He has to save this.
Yes.
That is why knight f3 move will be called not only developing move but also active move.
Active. Yes.
So this is the
Okay.
meaning of active move. Now they say that we quickly develop and actively develop for two reasons or three reasons: to give our pieces as much mobility, possible moves. So this knight f3 gives this knight so much mobility, because knight on f1 he can only move to these squares,
1, 2, 3.
but knight on f3 can move to all these so many squares.
Yes.
That is why, after following the first principle, in the second principle, if we develop our pieces quickly and actively, our pieces will become more active and they will have more squares to go. They will be more mobile. So when the mobility of your pieces are higher, it will help you to plan your attack better, because you will have freedom to choose where you want to take your knight. You will have more options.
Yes.
And it is always better to have more option than less.
Yeah.
Okay, next, the point sub point says to clear the way for our other pieces to move. So this knight f3 move, in addition to developing an active moves and in addition to making this knight more mobile and active, it also gives spaces for other pieces. For example, this g1, there is no piece on g1, because this knight already go to f3, and whenever this bishop will move, this king will be able to castle.
Mm.
This king is only able to castle because we developed our knight and then we develop our bishop. So these both developing moves are helping white to castle also.
Yes.
So these developing moves not only develop pieces, but they help other pieces, give them freedom to decide what they want to do. The last point is to have our pieces working together as a team, like in a football or any other team. So when this knight played f3, now he is working in a team, because after knight played f3, this knight is asking his king, I am already in the center of the board. Now you can develop your bishop and then you can castle.
Yes.
Right now, this knight, bishop, king, and rook, these four are working as a team.
Mm.
This is how these pieces also need to be communicated with each other. If this knight is going to c3, this knight should tell this d3 pawn that after I develop, you can also go to d3. And then this d3 pawn should tell this bishop, when I go to d3, you should go to g4 or g5.
Yes.
So any moves in chess does not take place in isolation. It has relation and connection with other pieces. That is why they try to play together.
Okay.
And when you play together, your attack will be very, very strong.
Mm.
So shall we move on to the next principle?
Yes. Yes. Here, what I've learned, develop actively and quickly, that I wrote. So, like,
Yeah.
it's like a team, like each piece talking to the other.
Yes.
Like
They have to talk to each other.
communication, communicating, like,
Yes.
okay.
If this knight try to go just get mad and try to checkmate the black king, he will be not able to do that.
Yes.
He needs help of all other pieces.
All other pieces.
That is why they have to talk each other, make a common plan.
Yes.
So now
Okay.
read what is written on the right side and try to explain to me what does it mean.
Okay. Why is castling important? Like, that's what it's trying to explain. The castling of the king is important. Yes. Because if it's in the center, it can be attacked from center, left, and right. Castling, it's much harder for the opponent to attack. Most Okay. Yes, yes, castling is one of the most important thing in chess, no?
Why?
This one, king can be attacked like this arrows is shown. That's what he's trying to explain. King can be attacked from the center, left, right, everywhere. You know, middle of the field, battlefield sort. So if it goes secure, we keep our king secure. Once we castle, no, it is taken care of by like in one secure place. It is.
Okay, so suppose you are teaching this principle to a child, how will you teach? What will you tell him?
Mm, center. Like in the center, you are being attacked by so many pieces.
Sides.
Like you are vulnerable. Like you'll be attacked. So castling is done so that you are surrounded by secure pieces. Like how to explain? I'm very bad at explaining to children. Mm, with
This
the
principle.
help of a football team or cricket, I'm just thinking basketball, cricket, football. I'm thinking all such things.
Yes, so this principle, like you were sharing, this says when your king is in the center, it is more vulnerable because it can be attacked from all sides. And when it can be attacked from all sides, if you want to defend, you need to defend also from the all sides.
Yes.
Just imagine yourself. Suppose you are inside a ring and you are, for example, playing a boxing match. And if there are three, four people who try to beat you, one is standing in front of you, one is standing left, one is standing right, one is standing your behind, you will be not able to defend.
Mm,
One person will kick you from right, one person from left, one person from front, one person from behind, and then you will die there. So same idea applies in the chess also. If your king is in the center, you will be get beaten from all the sides. So to reduce the opportunity for your opponent, it is better to castle on the corner on either side.
okay.
And when you go into work corner, then what will happen? Then also your opponent can attack, but then your opponent will have only one direction to attack. And
Mhm.
when your opponent has only one direction to attack, you also need to defend only in one direction.
Yes.
So same like in a boxing corner, there are four corners. If a boxer stand in the center and if there are four people, they can just beat him down there. But if that boxer goes to one corner, then even if there are 10 people, these 10 people will be in the center only. They have to come one by one in the corner.
Yes.
And you will be able to defend one by one each of them.
Mhm.
So that is why king in the center, king in the middle of the chessboard is always vulnerable.
Mhm.
So this principle largely says like in the opening and in the middle game, your king should remain in the corner behind these pawns, behind any other piece.
Yes.
But you need to add one more thing which is not written there, which is in the end game, your king should not hide.
Yes.
Your king should show why he is a king.
Yeah.
that king should come out and fight in the center. That is one of the important principle which if you don't know, then even if you follow this principle, there are high amount of chances that in the end game you will face problem. So in the third principle, you can add that thing also, that get your king castle to the safety as early as possible, but in the end game, bring your king to the center. So in the end game, this principle become totally opposite.
Yes.
Okay, so if you don't have any question, then shall we move on to the next principle?
See, here, no, okay, that's great. Like, we are doing castling and all that. Now, once this castling is over, the opponent will, some of the games, what happened, like they were attacking from the same side, no? So, some of the games, even if we don't do castling, it's not mandatory, like, isn't it?
Yes, it is not at all mandatory, but in most cases, if you are playing 10 games, there will be 7 or 8 games where it will look like a mandatory.
Acha. Okay.
So, even if there is no danger of king in the center, there is no immediate
Hmm.
danger, but there can
Hmm.
be immediate danger. So, so when we say the principle are not rules. They are not fundamental rules. They are principles. So principles are which you can keep in your mind and then behave according to the situation.
That's not a rule, correct? Okay.
So for example, if you believe that honesty is a good principle, you should always be honest. So this is a principle in your life that you can follow, but it is not a rule.
Right.
There can be situation where you, if you be honest and more honest, then you will face more problem. So sometimes maybe it is better to be honest based on situations. Like just quickly, I will tell you a very small story which one of my teacher told. For example, like in history, there was a king, and that king called one pandit to show his hand and to see his future. And that pandit saw his hand and show and see all the lines. And that pandit told the king that in your family a big disease is going to come. Your wife will die. Your all children will die, and then in the
Hmm.
end you will also die in the war. And when the Pandit told this, the king got very angry and furious, and that then the king hanged that Pandit.
Hmm.
Now, after some days, that king again invited a different Pandit. And then again, that king asked, please see my hand and tell me my future. And Pandit saw his hand, and then Pandit started saying, you will you will be alive the most number of years than any of your family members.
Okay.
Now if you see in reality, both of the pandit are right.
Hmm.
They told the same thing. Even the
Yes.
second pandit did not lie. So sometimes, even if you follow a principle, how you follow that principle also determine its results.
Yes.
So same way, this is a principle that you should castle your king to the safety, but this should not be a blind rule. Based on
Yes.
situation, if you see now is the right time, castle, bring your king
Yeah.
to safety. And if you feel you can take some more moves and see what your opponent is planning, you can wait and then see.
Wait. Yes. Yes.
So everything depends
So
on.
nowadays in all my games, I generally wait, like previously, like fut. I used to do all that castling and all. Now at least, of course, I didn't play many games now.
Yeah, so it is like presence of the situation. So what is
Yeah.
most required in the situation, you should do that.
Yes.
Okay, so shall we move on to the next principle?
Yes. Yes.
Chessboard, please read this text on the right side. If this is too small, I can increase the size also, and
No,
then
no, that's fine. Okay. Okay. Remember the three basic question on the writing them in the chat room to the left. Take control of the game. How do we do that? Oh, that's good. Next one for me. Let's implement the opponent. Take control of the game. Okay. Now, I think I asked a similar question like after all my pieces are developed, castling over, what next? Like, no, taking control of the game. So, I think how do we do that?
okay. So just wait. So did you finish reading this?
I'm reading it again because
Yes.
okay,
So you can just read
okay,
it. You can just read it and then tell me. Then I will show you one more.
just a minute. Fighting for the initiative. Technically, it's known as fighting for the. Now, this is a very different kind of explanation. Fighting for the initiative. Okay.
Yes, you can write
Having a
sentence
flow of
fighting
thread.
for the initiative. We will discuss that.
Yeah. With initiative is under control of the game. Opponent's control of the game. Okay. I'm not going to have any flow of threads that are unable to ignore. Any flow of threads. That's the theory. Now let's bring it
Are
to.
you ready to see some examples?
And then just in the last sentence, fighting for them that they got referring to control of the game, or more concretely, having a flow of threats that the opponent is unable to ignore. This is, now let's see it in practice. Okay. Threats, which is to. Yeah, I finished reading.
Okay, just
Oh, TNT, TNT. That's the theory.
okay. Now, whenever you are reading, you can read it loud so that whenever you reach the moves, I will play that move.
Okay, now let's see the theory in practice with examples and examples. What is the best first move for white? I recommend the following first move for beginners. First one is E4. Actually, not D4.
Yeah, d4 is also good, but first move generally is the e4, and then the second is d4.
Okay. Okay, this is the most common move and with good reason. White controls one of the four central squares. D5 occupies the second E4. What is that? White controls one of the four central squares. Okay, D5 and occupies, of course, it is occupying E4. Okay, there's no E4 also ends with rapid development. Okay, and bishop and queen have much greater ability. What is black's best reply to follow basic principle one to control the center? Okay, what is black's best reply to this move to control the center? So,
Now we will see the d4 rules.
okay, that is for black, no? The d4, what he's trying to tell, or for white only he's trying to tell?
No, for white, first we are discussing for white e4 and d4. So e4, we saw the reason. Now we are seeing for the d4.
D4. Okay, fine.
Then we will see the black reply.
Okay. D4. Okay. This move D4 controls two of the four central squares, D4 and E5. This move actually does the best job of all for controlling the center. It is the second most common move for white at all levels. The price white pays for this compared to even for status based movement development is slightly slower. Oh, what way it is slower? See this um, this queen's pawn, no, like d4. Now here what it's writing, they are telling like this move actually does the best for all the controlling missiles. The second most common move for my turn. The price white pays for this compared to e4 is that his piece mobility and development is slightly slower, and it also takes longer for white to get his king castled.
Because when you play
Okay.
the e4, this pawn is still there on e2.
Acha, this bishop and this. Okay.
And if you want to castle on this side, you still need to play this pawn. You still need to develop your bishop. You still need to
Hmm.
develop your knight. Then only you will be able to castle.
Yes.
That is why d4 helps, because d4 is the first move. Then you can simply develop your bishop, knight,
And
and
this
then castle.
knight and castle. Oh, at least not get his king castled. Okay.
Okay, now after e4, now we will see what black plays. Black plays e5. Now you see the reason behind e5.
Fine. The symmetrical move is the most common deployment. The second most common. Black will do mentioned for white and equal advance the circuit to keep this central by exchanging and the opponent central. Advance the central power which opponent has better chances to obtain the advantage. The symmetrical move is the most common of the black ideas with another scene mentioned for white. Okay, decide that to keep their central pawn, opponent central pawn. Okay, better chances to obtain the advantage out of the opening. Now this last sentence, what is trying to tell me? Hmm, exchanging, eliminating the opponent's central pawn, where it is just moved, no? So in case it comes, it can capture. That's what it's trying to explain, I think.
Yeah, because
It
now if white
explains.
try to play d4 and try to control the center, this pawn can simply capture.
We take. Yes. Okay, that's what it's trying to tell us. Okay, where is it gone? Keep the
Okay, so in this,
has better
yes.
just to keep an exchange and then the document central one is better chance of obtaining advantage out of the opening. Has better chances to obtain the advantage. Now I'll have to please explain this. Is the better chances to obtain the advantage out of the opening. That is just again controlling the center. That only, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, now he's also explaining why certain moves are not good. For example, after e4, your opponent should play e5, but your opponent, suppose if some of your opponent plays a6,
Hmm.
then you can read and tell me why a6 is not good.
What weaker does not doesn't follow any of the basic principles. So white to control more of the center uncontested. Okay. Okay.
Yes, this much.
This
So
much is the
this,
first move and doesn't allow any of the basic principles. And now the white is controlling the center. No, it's allowing the white to control the center.
yes. So that is why this a6 or h6 or these moves are not good, because we should follow the basic principle, which is controlling the center first.
Yes.
Okay, now there is a other option. For example, uh, okay, so now after this d4, if your opponent goes a6, then you can play d4 also. And now you can read why.
Now white controls three of the four central squares. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now white controls three of the four. He has obtained the dream center of pawns d4 and e4. For black, there is pawns on d5 and e5. F6 and 7. Now white controls of all the four of the central.
And
He's ready to
now,
develop his other piece.
yes, now suppose after d4, if your
Yes.
opponent plays h4, again a not so good move because he is not following the basic principle, then you can play knight c3 or
Okay.
even knight f3.
Yeah, in either of that. Okay.
And now white control all the four central squares. He is ready to develop his other pieces and prepare castling for king to safety.
King to safety. Yes.
These are some of the fundamental principle, and like in the previous principle, when he was saying that we should develop our pieces actively and keep threatening the opponent piece.
Hmm.
Then keep threatening the opponent pieces after e4. If your opponent plays this, this is the same principle. You should play f3. You are threatening to capture this pawn. If your opponent defend this, you can develop your knight. At the time you are not threatening, but you are developing. Then if your opponent develop this, you can develop this bishop. Your opponent develop this bishop, you can play d3. Then if your opponent castles, now you can even wait. You can first play bishop g4, pin this knight. This bishop g5 is a developing move, at the same time very active move, and you are also threatening so many things.
Yes.
And when your opponent plays, for example, d6, you can even wait for the castling and play h3 to take this square away from this bishop.
Okay.
And then if your opponent attack your
This
bishop,
H or A, no, this pawn move is very important because we give the king also one more space, no?
yes, yes,
Otherwise, that rook will straight away come to the last rank and last rank chess, like checkmate, no?
yes,
Last rank
yes,
checkmate, some that I was going through. Okay, I should give one space here. Okay,
yes.
right, right. Sorry for interruption.
No,
Yes,
it's totally fine. And now when your bishop is attacked, you can play h bishop h4.
yeah,
And now if your opponent tries to attack your bishop, no need to come back. Sometimes you can sacrifice. You can capture with your knight.
okay,
And then if pawn captures, you can capture with your bishop. Now you want two pawns for your knight, and your black king is open. And then you can play queen f3, attack this knight twice.
okay.
Based on situation, you can do this, and this becomes only possible after you finished your development.
Yes, yes. After development only, quite a few games this situation came. No, I should straight away capture with my knight first. This pawn.
Yes. So, so next time, whenever your opponent attack your bishop, try sacrificing your knight for these two pawns.
Yes.
And after this pawn captures, capture with your bishop, and then try to play either queen f3 or knight d5 to attack this knight
Okay.
because this knight is pinned. And when you play this, we will analyze that specific game more in detail.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let me.
That this one castling now. See, my king and this position like was castling important now here, given this situation.
In this position, you should develop your queen and castle on the queen side
Acha.
because
Okay.
these two files are open. You should castle on the queen side, bring this rook also on g file, then you have two rook on these files.
Okay.
So your attack will be stronger because if you castle on this side, then you will be blocking this file with your own pawns and then it will be difficult for you to continue attack
Hmm.
because
Yes.
you have already sacrificed your knight.
Yes.
So when you sacrifice something, you should continue your attack.
Yeah.
So that is the thing. Now let's just see the other